Hello, today we are going to talk about how to add fractions. Now, there are actually different types of addition problems. The first type we're going to talk about is when you are adding fractions with like denominators. That means that both denominators have the same number. For example, 3/7 plus 5/7. Both of these fractions have a denominator of 7. Therefore, they're like denominators. So let's get started. Step 1 says to add the numerators. Well, if you look here, our numerators are 3 and 5, and hopefully we know that 3 plus 5 gives us 8. Step 2, keep the common denominator. We've already discussed that common denominator is a 7. And then finally, step 3 is to simplify. What we have is an improper fraction, 8 over 7. So I'm going to reduce it or simplify it to a mixed number. 7 goes into 8 one time with 1 left over. Keep that denominator to make our solution 1 and 1/7. Now, we are also going to talk about how to add unlike denominators. So this is going to be opposite of like. Unlike denominators is when you have 2 or more fractions with different denominators. So it's a little bit more involved. First is to find the LCD. That means the least common denominator. So we have the 12 and the 8. We've talked about how to find an LCD before. So I'm going to skip all that work. 12 and 8 have a common multiple of 24. In fact, it's the least common. So that will be my LCD. Step number 2 is to find the equivalent fraction. Well, 12 times the 2 gave me the 12 times the 2 gave me the 24. So 7 times the 2 is 14. 8 times the 3 gave me the 24. So 5 times the 3 is 15. All right, now we've done that. We can move into step 3, which is to add the numerators. Keep the common denominator, step 4. And the last step is to simplify. Again, we have an improper fraction. 24 can go into 29 one time with 5 left over. Keep that denominator over 24. And we have our solution. Now, last thing I want to talk about is how to add mixed numbers. Sometimes you will be given mixed numbers, 2 together or maybe just one in the problem. So it's good to know how to solve these. The first thing is to find the LCD, just like before. Here is a 3 and then the other denominator is a 5. The LCD between these two denominators would be 15. And I'm just going to copy the whole numbers. You don't have to, but I strongly suggest you do so. All right, step number 2, find the equivalent fractions. We went from 3 to 15 by multiplying by 5. So 1 times 5 is 5. We went from 5 to 15 by multiplying by 3. So 4 times 3 is 12. All right, now step 3, skip step 3. Step 3 says to add the whole numbers. 2 plus 1 is 3. Step 4, add the numerators. 5 plus 12, 17. And then, of course, we keep that common denominator like step 5 says. Now, the last step says to simplify. This could get a little tricky, but if you remember that a fraction is part of a whole, you should be able to remember that 15 goes into 17 one whole time, and that one whole we add to the 3. So instead of being 3 and 17 over 15ths, this will simplify to 4, the one whole, with 2 over 15.